Welcome to the Pen Leader Podcast, where strategic leaders get straight to the topics, strengthening our awareness and sharpening our minds. The Pen Leader Podcast is produced by Ruyra, a production division of Mays & Associates Ltd. Find out more at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Now here is your award-winning host, Dr. Shanda Gore.
And welcome to the Pen Leader Podcast. Today, I am glad to share with you an interview with a leader that you don't typically hear from every day, but is counted on by thousands of individuals for their traveling and their safety. You may not share the same type of job, but I know when you listen to this interview, you'll hear about the similarities between responsibilities and ultimately, and I think it's very fitting by the title of this, Captain of the Ship.
I'm so glad to have with me Captain Josep M, who was born in El Masnou, a small coastal village north of Barcelona, where his love of the sea began. He comes from a lineage of seafarers who, during the golden age of the Spanish colonies, sailed to Cuba and the Philippines. The captain started his cruise career in 2003 with Home Tour, where he rose through the ranks and contributed to corporate projects after the company's acquisition by Royal Caribbean in 2006. He also spent 1 year ashore, aligning corporate procedures and policies through brands. He joined the Royal Caribbean Fleet in 2016 with the comeback of the Empress of the Seas. Since then, he has sailed on the Mariner of the Seas, Harmony of the Seas, and the Grandeur of the Seas, where he was promoted to captain in August of 2024. Off duty, the captain stays active with the gym, cycling, swimming, and more recently, paddleboarding. He loves visiting the mountains, especially the Pyrenees, with his wife and kids. He is a watch enthusiast and devoted Football Club Barcelona supporter. So welcome, Captain.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad to get a chance to talk to you. And, really to enjoy the time with you, to see your leadership actually in motion and demonstrated, because I've been privileged enough to be on your boat. So
thank you. Hope you're enjoying.
I love this. It's been a wonderful cruise.
Thank you.
What inspired you to pursue a career at sea and ultimately become a cruise captain? I see you've got history in your family, but to really pursue being the leader of the ship.
Well, I think that always I have liked the sea. Always, the place where I grew up was just in front of the sea, so I've been related to one way or the other. And of course, when you grow up and comes that moment that you have to decide when to do it, is where you're starting taking seriously. Okay, how I'm gonna make my life, right? How I'm gonna sustain my living. So then, out of curiosity, I saw that there was one degree that I can study close to home that would allow me to travel to to meet people from other places. And then also, I always had that curiosity when I was seeing the ships, especially the cruise ships. Okay, I was always wondering, how is it inside? What do they have? How is the people inside? What's the people like inside, right? So that is the things that attract me towards the degree. Then, of course, when I started checking all the subjects, it's so diverse, so many different things that you have to develop an expertise of. So it caught me so much, right? Becoming a captain is more a matter of continuation, of continuing being there, getting and gathering experience, raising to the ranks, and being that having that little ambitions that you want to progress higher and up, and the rest is time, I would say.
Wow, that's amazing. I did notice that according to the Cruise Lines International Association, there are more and more people cruising. And they're estimated between 36 to 37 million that are cruise passengers. And I was wondering, how does the leadership that you have when you're leading thousands of people on a ship, how is it maybe different at sea versus on land? And then how do you keep people motivated when you have large amounts of individuals to be responsible for?
Well, first thing is that nowadays the crews are with the bigger ships that they are being building. We have crews from everywhere around the world. right? And there are so many things happening on board. It's not only the technicalities of the navigation, we have all the technicalities of the operation at the engine room and all the systems when we are working. And then when you get into the hotel, wow, it's really a moving hotel. So there is people from not everywhere, but from all the ages, all the religions, and all the races, right? So you have to find a point how to handle people because they are sometimes so different that you have to adapt to that. Of course, one thing that we have is that we have a very strong identity, and that is provided itself by the company. We have our processes, our systems, but we have our identity and the way that we want to do the things. So as you are growing up, you start by the bottom, you're growing up in this kind of organization. You are learning that. So the organizations put you in place. Of course, from my point of view, when that you see it from the top, what the way I keep everybody motivating is just highlighting how much important is their job every day. Their performance, it really matters. It makes a difference. And that things it works very well when you just person you are supervising, you are working, or even anybody in the hotel or engine room. Okay, if you do the things like this, or if you do things the other way, my way, because I have more experience, because I have seen more, you have these benefits. The benefits are not only for the company, are benefits for you also, in a way that you can direct that to high performance and to the personal growth. And that kind of motivation drives very well everybody or individuals to just grow up, to try to go one step further in the job that they do, in the care, in the passion they do their job, I believe. And that is how it's one thing that I use with everybody. And I congratulate them for the good job when I have an opportunity. I correct when I have to correct, of course. And then I engage, of course, in dialogues with them and say, okay, you're doing the things like this. What's the benefit? Okay, and what are the benefits if you do it the other way? Right? One thing that comes with experience is not learning the things the proper way. It's learning all the ways that you can do the things and then being able to choose the right way at any time, right? It's not learning 1, 2, 3, I used to say, it's learning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that, of course, also is given not only by one supervisor, but multiple is that good thing that has sometimes, yeah.
Well, it's with years of experience because, again, you've been sailing and really running ships for a number of years. How has your leadership style evolved? Because it sounds like right now, again, you're talking about listening and having this opportunity to give individuals to think about one way or this way. How has your leadership style evolved into this?
Well, my personal leadership style, if I will go to the studies, because of course we have studies and we visited psychologists to get to this position. Not everybody is just given one ship like this with so much responsibility. My leadership style is defined as a supporter. Right. Of course, I have parts that I can be an analytic person, I can be an influencer as well, and I can be also a driver when I need to. But my personal trend is going to support that. If you have listened to my first answer, it makes sense, right? Because I like to see where the people is standing and just interfere. Okay, you can do it better. I can support. And support sometimes is just opening those doors. So the people can just develop, can improve, can grow up as a professional, as a person, right? Especially on board, because on board we are not only working here. We spend full contract every day, so we are working and living, right? So, yeah. Aside from that, I would say that I'm a little bit paternalistic when I try to take care about, especially the members of my team up on the bridge, but. The other people I have relation I work close to.
Excellent. How do you handle unexpected challenges? And I think again, the leaders that listen to the show all around the world, everyone faces challenges, moments when people could zig or zag, and how they manage it. And the most effective leaders tend to be those that can take it on and pivot when they need to, and thus we talk about pin leadership. But how do you do that? I mean, you've got storms, technical issues, medical emergencies, while maintaining calm and the demeanor amongst all the guests and keeping them calm. How do you do that? What advice would you give to someone?
Well, I think I will use one example I use with the crew members. When the crew member come on board, they have to do a lot of training. One of the training is for life-saving appliances or for survival or for firefighting. My way of motivating that may define this answer is like, okay, if you find yourself in an emergency, in a tight situation that you have to respond, don't you want to know what to do? Then you better study. You better get ready for this. You better pay attention to the training, and that's the base. I would say to be able to act or respond calmly is your knowledge. You have to work with your knowledge. I mean, that is how you start. When I started, I was reading as much technical books, international books, books about the ship and itself, to know the structure, to know the systems better, to know more than anybody. Becoming an expert in the ship is something that at our level, certain level of officers we have, and we have to be, and we are, and that's the start of it, right? First, you gather all that technical knowledge, and then the experience or the time puts you on that situations that allows you to, okay, I'm in that situation now, I have to respond this fast, right? Of course, within the experience that will just put you for the situations and will tell you, okay, how I have to respond in here, how do I have to read. Of course, you have to see the moment on that. You are working with people, right? Emergencies, you will work always with mistakes. You have to respond that. And it is better when in that situation you don't lose your nerves. It's better handle that, of course, if you get nervous, right? That this is also something that we talk is the example of how you transfer panic in a family. If you have family of father, mother, daughter, and son, being the son, the youngest one, if the son gets in panic, the panic will not get transferred to the rest of the family. But if the father at the top of it gets panic, then it will transfer to the son. So it's in my duty to keep it cool, right? And of course, the way I keep it cool is because I have an experience. I have been through situations, but because also I force myself to learn. Okay, what if? What if happens like this? And that is also something that I try to transmit to my team or the team itself when we are dealing with emergencies or tight situations, or we are preparing for the unexpected. Okay, we're going to be there, and here we have to pay attention. We have to keep technically what we call situational awareness to know what options we have, how we can respond, how we can attend, and how can we be ready for the unexpected. Right, so all of this has to be included in a certain flexibility and say, okay, if we are there and okay, something is happening, then we have to be able to respond, right? So I think it's more than one thing that we have to put together in order to be ready for that.
Well, just so that you know, I witnessed a couple of things that it was handled so well, a change, because you can't control what's going on at port sometimes, and I witnessed that, and it was handled very well. So excellent. You've traveled the world, which, again, so many destinations, and I'm wondering what port or what destination left the biggest mark on you personally?
Well, I like all places I go, right? When I got questions like, okay, what is the most difficult port or the easiest port? Of course, seeing that from the bridge and from the perspective of a driver, I can tell you that there are ports that they are very easy, and they can be also very difficult depending on the weather conditions, right? And of course, then it comes to the seasons, it comes to areas where there can be some currents, and it can get very complicated. Of course, if I would see that from the point of view of a guest, right, I would say that the best place in the world now to go cruising, the destination that I will go, it's Coco Cay, perfect day and Coco Cay, because simply from my experience, seeing how happy are the guests, right? It really gives a meaning of cruising, right? Cruising on the States, you move to Florida, you get on board the ship in Florida, and then you travel to paradise. So that's a destination that really, really is impressive.
Coco Cay.
Coco Cay.
And where is that Coco Cay located?
Coco Cay is in the Bahamas.
Oh, Bahamas.
Just a half day sailing from any of the major ports on this Florida.
Hey.
Yeah, if you haven't visited, you are welcome. It's really paradise. You can imagine palm trees, white sand beaches, and of course clear, very clear water, and a lot of activities, good food. Right? Yeah, we call it perfect day in Coco Cay because you really can spend one perfect day. So I would choose among all places I've been. I've been in places that are really beautiful, right, around a lot of continents, South America, even the Caribbean. Here in Europe is something also remarkable. But that place is really, I think, is matches the idea of cruising and visiting and relaxing and going to paradise. Yeah.
Well, you definitely got me at cruising. I think that it's a fantastic experience. It's our first cruise.
Oh.
So this
nice.
is like, you've made it a wonderful experience.
I'm happy for that, yeah.
So now here's the fun questions, and many of our listeners love this one. Captain, what are you reading and what do you watch?
Okay, when in terms of reading, yeah, it's been a time I haven't read any book, right? Because we have so many things to read. We have so many technicals, updates, emails, and things going on. There's regulations we are subjected are evolving at all time. So really, when I sit in the office, I have to read a lot. I have to absorb a lot of content. And then not only that, but apply it, right? So usually when I have those moments that I can relax, I can more to just relax by doing some activity, especially when I'm in vacation. I try to keep myself active. When I'm on board, and I don't have that time to do any activity, and I'm also subjected also to have rest, right? It's a little bit sometimes forced to rest in some periods of the day, so I can be ready and well rested to any situation that may arise, or of course where the ship will be, any entrance, arrival or departure from the port where I need to be in the bridge fully rested and with fully capable for the operation. So actually I try more now to just get to YouTube and watch her videos, and then of course I will fall asleep doing like that. I don't need too much. Before, yes, watching movies. I love movies. I like shows. I don't know, Netflix, Amazon. I love to see all this. But nowadays, I don't pass from the short videos of 15, 20 minutes of YouTube. And of course, when it's that, it's a lot of things. Of course, I follow the football back in Spain. I know I watch enthusiasm, so I like a lot the watches. And then, I don't know, I consume whatever the algorithm is bringing in the YouTube, right? In the YouTube, of course.
Well, I'm excited to hear that you get a vacation too.
Yes, of course.
And I noticed that it's different when people say, well, he's continuous on a vacation. No, the captain is not continuous on vacation. There is so much going on and so much responsibility. And same with the crew too. So when you get your vacation, time with your wife and children, it probably means even more.
Yes, it means a lot because you've been far away for a while from them, and of course you miss some of the things. Nowadays, it has improved because we have the internet and allows us to have a closer connection to see each other every day. But still, you're not there, right? So, fortunately, this job has these vacation periods where you really have a quality time. Still, you are linked to the company and to these regulation updates and updates of the company and some meetings at this position. Of course, you are a corporate position, but you have a quality time that you are really focused on your family, and you can spend a good time with them.
Excellent. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing your point of view, and especially if those that are out there that are cruising or getting on ships, understanding really what's going into the leadership component of running that ship. So thank you so much, Captain.
My pleasure.
Excellent.
And we have to say thank you so much for the captain and all of his crew that truly took the time to ensure that we had a chance to sit down uninterrupted and have our interview. So, again, thank you to the Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, as well as those crewmates that were on the Voyager of the Seas. We really appreciate you and your support for the Pen Leader podcast. And we'd like to thank our sponsor, the Maine Intelligence Network. Come be a part of a focused network of entrepreneurs, leaders, executives, and authors committed to sharpening leadership and strategy while scaling ventures with intention. This is a place where practical thinking meets high caliber connection. So check out the Maine at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Download the app Mighty and select Maine on the homepage to learn more and sign up for how you can get connected. And of course, until next time.
The Pen Leader podcast is hosted by Dr. Shanda Gore and brought to you by Mays & Associates Ltd, creating customized solutions for growth in the areas of leadership development, strategic planning, and culture building. Find out more at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the Pen Leader podcast and share with others.